What's up, everyone, to
What's going
episode
on?
001 of RC Spotlight, your new, better, more entertaining version of somebody else's weekly RC show. You know who we're talking about. So we've got 4 segments. First segment, news. Let's get going. What's new this week?
New releases, we got the new HPI fifth scale electric ready to run all-wheel drive. That's the
Super SC, I think they call it.
Super SC, the
Yeah.
long Savage, as I like to call it, the big Savage.
Yeah. And basically, I think it sucks. But
But to speak into its strong points, we don't have, from a name brand company, a ready to run
it's
electric
the first, it's the largest
fifth
fifth
scale.
scale.
Yep, that's brushless out of the box. But let's speak to why we don't like it. It's got the twin vertical plate. It shares a lot of parts of the Savage. So it's basically Savage. They extended it and stretched it, put a big body on it. It's running the Savage motor,
Yep.
the Savage speed controller,
2200
Savage radio.
kV, 6S limit, which who wants to run a 6S on a 5th scale? Forget about it.
Yeah, it's a big ace scale. And so, yeah, it's cool that we got a fifth scale brushless, but is it a fifth scale or is it an ace scale in disguise?
That's all it is, right?
My jury's out on that yet. We'll see how it goes.
Well, kudos to HBI, though, for battling. I mean, really, the Low C5's got to be killing them right now. It's probably completely killed their 5th scale sales, I imagine.
Yeah.
At only a couple $100 more, it's really hard to compete. So, I think what they did was smart. Rather than trying to do another 4-wheel drive gasser, they
Yeah.
went four-wheel drive electric. So I think that's
And
smart.
the price point's right. It's $1,000. That's a really good price for a ready to run fifth scale electric.
Oh, that
If
is
you
really
can
cheap.
assume, it's a fifth scale. It's got a center differential. They beefed it up all around. They fixed the battery doors.
Finally.
They got nice little turn tabs now instead of
Yeah,
rubber
for all
things.
you that hate those front of RC reviews about the HPI battery doors, I like to think that's pretty much because of us.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're curious to see that once it's released. How people think it handles. I mean, they claim it's really light, so that's why you only need an 8 scale system on there.
It could be
Eh,
true.
We'll see. I like the weight. I like the weight, the heft of a true fifth scale because it just behaves so much better to
Well,
a point.
At the price point, though, RC Nightmare may try it out. May. If we keep getting hated on, though, for...
Buying
HP.
all these HPIs and
Yeah.
testing them for you and giving them reviews. Well,
Yeah,
no.
then I might not.
But
anyway,
on to the next one. The Team Associated, the Nitro, it's the SC10 GT Nitro
Two-wheel
short
drive.
course.
Yep.
2-wheel drive. I don't know of any other Nitro 2-wheel drive short course from any name brand out there at all. And so this is I'm hoping it'll
that's
kind of
true.
reinvigorate the hobby. This is basically, if you're curious, it's the RC10 GT2. It's probably got some of the 2 stuff on it. Stretched just like their SC10 to be at short course length. It's
I
got
think
the
it's got a point-
8.18.
yeah, .18 motor. It's got the tuned pipe. It's got all it looks to be, and it's ready to run. Which
Yeah.
I will tell you, I would guarantee you, we will test this one at RC Nightmare because I don't love 2-wheel drive short course trucks. I'm kind of done with it, but I really like Nitro, especially when Brandon does all the work.
Well, we'll see how it goes. The good thing is Team Associated used existing chassis technology to build it, so it's not some crazy new thing with no one's sure if it's going to be good. And it's pretty niche. I mean, where do you see Nitro 2-wheel drive 10 scale short course? You don't see it. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 out there, but not name brand, not mainstream. So
So at least here in the Midwest, it's tough
Yeah.
to race Nitro because it's got to be outdoors and communities. Even though every Harley in the world drives by that's 100 times louder than a Nitro, it's really hard to have outdoor tracks for Nitro. So I'm definitely with you. I hope that this gets people into Nitro and maybe we can band together as an RC community and get more tracks for that.
yeah.
So the other new item that I know you're really excited about.
Third item, this is going
Yeah.
into the air, into the skies. Park Zone has, not released yet, coming out in a month or 2, will be the Micro Spitfire. So why do I like this? They have so many micros out already. I mean, there's like 20 on the market already. This thing is it's an ultra micro, 15-inch wingspan, really, really small. Ultra detailed. It's good enough to put on your shelf. I mean, all the mold lines, the panel lines are in it. It's got a full cockpit, 4-blade prop. It looks incredible. They've thrown in the AS3X on this thing. That's what makes it a big release.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about AS3X.
AS3X, it stands for Artificial Stabilization on a 3-axis gyro. It's what we use in very aerobatic helicopters in RC, and it's basically a computer that can sense movements in all directions, so it can keep it very, very stable, but at the same time very maneuverable.
So as a new flyer like me, it helps you do some of the acrobatic stuff without crashing every time. And then if somebody's a more experienced pilot like you, it makes the flying experience a lot better, right? You don't have to fight it so much. Will it be indoor only, do you think?
Well, where the AS3X really shines is its ability to fight with some wind. And so we've seen this released on the GB, the Beast 3D. It's already been out. Those planes are about twice as big as this one, though. So they do very well. It's in the Carbon Cub. You can take them on a lot of wind, and they're on rails, fight the wind for you. But now this is a plane half the size, probably a third of the weight. So I'm really excited to see it. If this comes out to be as good as the the larger micros that have been out, it's going to be a deal breaker. Now you can have this tiny little shelf model that flies as good as something this big for a great price.
You think
it's $100?
Yeah, you think we'll be getting that for flight school?
It'll probably be one of the items on our list. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, my dog jumped on our other 2 micros in the back of my truck, so
I fixed them.
Yeah, fixed. He can fly them, but they look horrible. Yeah. So whatever you guys share your thoughts on the new HPI 1/5 scale 4x4, the Nitro 2-wheel drive. What do you think about? Is that going to help reinvigorate the hobby? Do you race 2-wheel drive now? Will you be lured by Nitro? And if you like flight, tell us what you think about the Spitfire. On to the next section. Welcome to section Dos 2, Zwei on Deutsch. This is our what to buy section. Not necessarily like, hey, go buy this stuff, but like answering everyday questions with some real answers. Like, hey, go questions. Get this stuff because this is what you need. And today's topic is going to be servos. Generally, we get innumerable number of questions on our, from our 25,000 plus total subscribers across all of our channels about servos, steering servos specifically. So we're going to just share a couple rules of thumb with you. 10th scale, 2-wheel drive, or 4-wheel drive, buggy, truggy, short course. Yeah. What do you think we should get?
Well, if you're in a 10th scale market, generally summing this up, because there's exceptions to every rule, you're going to want about 200 ounce inches. I mean, anything less than that is like what comes on its stock. It's not going to seem like a very big improvement. So if you're out there to buy a servo, start at 200 ounce inches. And then speed is something to speak of that not many people get into. Most people just look at the torque. How much torque does this thing have? Well, if it's super torquey, but it takes half a second to give it to you, it's going to be horrible. You'll be able to steer it. So you want, if you're racing, 0.10 for speed, and that's how long it takes it to get from one side of the travel to the other. If you're not in a tight little track or you're racing where you can't tell that it's too slow, 0.15 is okay. But buy whatever you can afford and buy as quick and as torque as you can. But yeah, 10 scale, 2 or 4-wheel drive, 200 ounce inches is the baseline.
And these aren't hard and fast rules. These are just, we've owned probably 100 RCs in the past 3 or 4 years, and this is just our best, 10 ounces one way or the other, or a tenth of a second, whatever. So moving on to 8th scale, which would include buggies, truggies. Although truggies, I think I'd want a little more juice. Yeah. Buggies, short course trucks. Where do we want to be at with that?
Well, once you get up to 8th scale, we generally say you want around 300 ounce inches. And there are, again, exceptions to that. But if you can get 300 ounce inches on an 8th scale, you're doing really, really well. And then again, look at speed. If it's 300 ounce inches but slow, you're going to hate the thing.
I remember making that mistake on, remember when I bought that buggy, I think I bought a steering servo for our buggy. I was so proud of myself because it was 350 inches of torque. But then I realized that it was ungodly slow.
Yeah, like 0.20 is pretty slow. You'll feel that leg.
Yeah, and generally, like from a basher's perspective or a newer hobbyist, like the perspective that I carry, if you're not racing, most RTR servos will probably be fine. It's a great upgrade for just better performance and turning radius. But when you get into the 8th scale, you're building a $1,000 kit. By the time you're said and done, you want to make sure you don't skimp on the servo.
Spend an extra $50 on whatever servo you're looking at to get a really good one.
And tell me two main areas where I used to get messed up is like, first of all, so when you're into these higher servos, they're also called high voltage. They require extra draw, and then also, what about like brushless? What does that even really mean in the higher end servos?
Well, yeah, now we see this. We have high voltage and brushless servos. You'll see coreless and digital. All these things just mean it's got more power, it's got more holding power, and it needs to draw more power. So what power is your servo? It's the speed controller, right? Or if you're on a nitro, it's your battery pack. if you got electric speed controller and you're powering your servo with that, and it's a really expensive brushless servo, it's not going to be able to have enough juice. So you got to buy a separate power supply called a BEC. Castle sells them, really popular, $20, and that gives the servo its own power source, so they can actually deliver all that power. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
And does that connect directly into the battery then?
Yeah, you got it. So the BEC
Okay.
will plug right into your big battery, and it'll convert it down to a nice regulated supply for the servo.
And it needs to be programmed, right?
Yeah, you got to
The
tell
VEC?
what voltage you want to run it. Some servos aren't high voltage. The max they'll take is 6 volts. Some will take 8.4 or higher. Just you got to look at the ratings and see what you got.
Yeah, I think when I bought the steering servo for our MBX 6T, which was going to be my
Your baby.
my baby. Yes, my child, so to speak. And I went crazy, and I bought brushless, and I didn't realize. I think is that a 7? Is that
It's a 7.4.
7.4 volt.
It's up to 8.4, but yeah, they call it a 7.4.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, like, when you go with the gears, what are the options? Are they all plastic, or are they titanium? Are they all titanium gears? Or
There's a lot of options. It starts at plastic, then you go to steel, then titanium, coated titanium, and there's a few in between. But all you got to know is that if you got $1,000 A scale, get metal gears. If you can afford it, you want metal gears on a steering servo.
Yeah.
If you're on a rock crawler, that's going to need about the 300 ounce inch servo. Plastic, you won't even find it, but don't use plastic. They don't have a servo saver.
yeah.
So you got to make
That's another important topic when you get into rock crawlers, and we sold our baby, the XR10.
Yeah.
It was a sad. Let's have a moment of silence for the XR10.
Okay, so
Leprechaun 79's got it now, though,
You're
so
enjoying
make sure you check out some videos by that guy if he ever makes any. But when you've got a steering servo on a crawler, it's a little more important actually, because not only does it have to steer your rig, but it's almost like the way I think about it in my mind is like you've got these arms. Like, let's say you're really crawling rocks and you're like, ugh, and you like get your arm up. You got to have enough like power to pull yourself up with the other tire, and that's where the
Right.
steering servo is really important on a rock crawler. So, the sky's the limit there. Like something
Yeah.
like 300 to 400 inches, fast, strong servo titanium gears.
Yep.
If you're competitively rock crawling. I can't imagine it would be much fun though with a
Yeah.
weak steering servo.
No, you're
It's
not going
everything.
anywhere. Yeah, you got to be able to steer the torque of the wheels, and like you said, you'll use that steering to get yourself stuck out of rocks and pull over it. So rock crawlers, buy the biggest, baddest servo you can get if you really want to have fun with it.
What about waterproof?
Yeah, this is something that Trax has brought to the scene with their waterproof servos out of the box. The 2075 is their most popular one. That's a 130 ounce inch servo. 0.15 is the transit time, if I remember correctly. That's complete waterproof out of the box for about $40, a little less. So that's a great, great deal. It's digital, but it's plastic gear. High-Tech has a few waterproof servos out there that are a bit more
Interesting, yeah.
expensive.
But they're not any more powerful, right?
They're not much more powerful, no.
That was
so-
a real surpriser to me when I heard that they were going to come out with it. I'm like, great, only come out with one and make it like 200 ounce inches. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit better, but they kind of let us down there. But yeah, and there's some other things you can do. Unless you're completely submerging your steering servo, we've got about as much hours as anybody.
Yeah.
In all our RCs, we've never water damaged a steering servo. If you're careful, little is it marine grease or is it dielectric?
Yeah,
Is it the same
dielectric
thing? Or?
grease.
Okay.
Marine grease is a really good waterproof grease that you can use in applications, but on servos, because there's electronics, we generally will run dielectric grease. So you soak that, you want to cover the output shaft and where all the case halves meet. A lot of high-end servos, if you're buying a good servo, a digital one, will oftentimes have gaskets built into them. They won't label them as waterproof because they really aren't. But you can, if you get water
That's
on
right.
it, it's no big deal.
You were just taking apart. Was it a High-Tech?
7955,
Yeah, 7955, and it was all. I mean, if you're fairly certain you're going to get your RC wet and everything else is waterproof, it couldn't hurt, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
In terms of one thing I wanted to mention is when people ask, well, what do you guys buy? I generally buy either High-Tech or Savox, and I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other on them. I know High-Tech seems a little like higher end-ish a little bit. It feels that way, but I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of Savox servos. Never had one go bad, and they have a huge selection on both High-Tech and Savox from 120 ounce to 400 ounce. So that's who I like.
Yeah, and those are both name brands. There's a lot of brands out there, and there's new servos coming out every month. So just do your research if you're not sure, if you haven't heard about it.
All right, well, that's the end of that section. Post your comments down below, and on to the next. Section 3, tips. This week, we figured we start out with something light. We're going to be using this spot for like tutorials at times, things like that. Quick little 2-minute tutorial, not to bore you, but to help you as much as we can.
Absolutely.
And as it's spring, early summer right now, a lot of people are either selling or buying RCs. And we figured we'd talk a little bit about more so using your 15 years experience in the hobby and 7 going on 8 years of working at our local hobby store here, which is actually how we met, buying used nitros. Tell me about it.
It's a popular topic. I can't tell you how many times people come into the store and they say, I got this great deal on this used nitro. Like, you guys sell it for $500 on your shelf. I got it for $300. Well, nitros have a lot of things that can go wrong with them. So when you're buying a used nitro, the rule of thumb is if you're going online, you see something on eBay, looks like a great deal, you want to assume that the motor on that nitro is no good because it does not take much to ruin a nitro motor.
Don't get sucked in by the shell either.
Yeah,
She may look pretty.
Yeah, what's underneath it? You know,
Yeah.
you want to be able to assume that the motor's bad. So you can take a nitro motor in 30 seconds, you can completely ruin it, and you're up $200. So how do you know if the seller took care of it? If they winterized it, did they break it in? Did they treat it right? They'll tell you I only ran it 2 times, or you only have an hour on it. It doesn't matter. If you're buying a used nitro online, just assume the motor's no good. Try to buy it as a rolling chassis.
Yeah.
There's other things too you want to look at. We got fuel lines, fuel tanks, clutches. The transmissions have a lot more moving parts, especially if it's got 2 speeds like nitros do. So there's all these wear parts that have to be replaced. Can add up to $200-300 really quick.
Well, and think about why they're for sale in the first place. I look back to when I bought my first T-Max, which is actually how we met. I took it home, I popped in the Traxxas DVD, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I missed several crucial steps, basically ruined the motor. We could never really get it to run that great even after that, which is, I think, how we ended up, like, getting to know each other better. But what do most people do? They buy nitro because it's loud and it's cool. They can never get it to run, so they sell it. Well, in that break-in process, you didn't properly break it in, and now the darn thing's never going to run right.
Yeah, right. It's junk. It's bad. They might be able to get it to run, but they say it runs, but does it run well and will it last long? Probably not.
Well, and there's a tip you told me about. If it's best to buy nitro where you can actually see it run.
Yeah.
And you were sharing with me a little bit about some things you can do there.
Yeah, the best bet if you really need to buy a used nitro is to buy it locally. Buy it somewhere where you can go and get your hands on it and see it. And the biggest thing is have the seller start it for you. You want them to start it. You want them to run a full tank through it nonstop. Refill that tank and start it again. If he's having trouble starting it, you usually take, it's usually like this. It just takes a little bit. No, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
If you can't run a full tank without the motor quitting or him tuning with it, it's a little fishy. And if you can't start it again after the first tank, that motor's worn out. So make sure that he runs a full tank and can start it again for you, and that it runs well, no problems.
Don't be afraid to throw in $5 for fuel too. Nitro fuel is not cheap. That's if you're going, be courteous. Don't make them feel like you think they're going to rip you off. But hey, let me give you $5 to cover your fuel costs.
Right.
Because that $5 could save you from $100 in a wasted purchase on a motor that you have to replace anyway. So
you got it. And if he can run the whole thing for you, you know that everything else is working. That the transmission's good, the clutch, the fuel tank, the fuel lines, and that just can ease your mind. You know you're getting a good deal then.
Yep. So great tips there. If you have any questions about buying used nitros, post them up down below. On to the next section. Welcome to section number 4, the most fun section. The section where we interact together as friends, RC community buddies. We're going to take the top 5 or 10 comments from the previous week's video and answer them in that current episode. So get posting up your questions down below, and if next week, if your question's good, we'll mention your name and answer your question for the whole community. This week we've picked some commonly asked questions across our the multitude of RC channels we have. We're going to answer
20,000 subscribers or so.
Yeah, almost 25,000 combined subscribers now. So we're going to share a little bit with you. Question 1, are you guys really friends?
No.
No.
Now, we're not even in the same room right now. This is all fake, and we're...
Yeah, this is all... No, we're good friends.
Yeah.
We happen to meet through the T-Max, which is the one RC I will never sell. The T-Max is what brought us together. We're good friends. We hang out outside of RC. We like to do things like shoot pool and light off fireworks and
all those guy
like that.
things.
Yeah. And so yes,
if we weren't as good of friends as we are, you wouldn't have any of these channels last as long.
There's
as
no way we could do this. It's literally 40 hours a week, to do running videos and things like that. And it's a good strong bond for sure. In a completely He's my hetero life mate, as some people might say.
And when we get pissed at each other, we just light fireworks.
That's
And
right.
So that's
Yeah. Anyway.
next
So,
question.
how are you guys able to afford all those RCs? Well, in
We
this
steal them?
yeah,
No.
in this kind of like partnership that we have with all the RC channels, he does all the hard work with like working on the kits, and he does a lot of the FaceTime on the cameras and helps out with RCs when he can. But generally, it comes from my paycheck, our paychecks. We both work full time. He works full time at the hobby store. I work full time as a internet marketing consultant, helping people make sure other people find their websites online.
Like
And
these websites.
That's right. And there's probably about 30 grand at least that we spent over the past 2 years on RCs. The only way we can sustain it is by taking meticulous care of our RCs, selling them for the highest possible price. You buy an RC, $500 maybe. If we can sell it for 425, so we've lost 75, but we've made 5 or 10 great videos, hopefully. And that's really the best. The answer is we can't afford it.
Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
we have a pile of used RCs in the corner.
No, we generally sell things pretty quickly. As soon as we're done shooting them, there's very few that can survive beyond the cut. Outside of my T-Max, maybe the Losi 5th scale. But if there was a new RC that came out and you guys really wanted to see it, RC Nightmare would say, we got to sell it, buy something new. Hey, I just sold the MBX 6E, which was one of my favorite buggies of all time, to my cousin because
He shedded one single tear.
it was an emotional moment for me. And we had to do it because we wanted to buy these Tamiya kits, and I can't just print money. I work, I have a mortgage to pay, car loan
short,
just like anybody else.
Work hard.
That's right.
He works extremely, extremely hard.
We both work very hard. I might work harder. Anyway, next question. Can you buy this XRC? We get questions all the time like, can you buy this X-Ray? Can you buy this Serpent? The answer is no. We're broke. I mean, we will buy things that we can when we sell things. If there's a huge demand for it, we will do whatever we can to be able to afford it.
For you guys.
Yeah, and it's all for you. I mean, I have no interest at all in on-road, and I have very little interest in, like, say, the Tamiya Grasshopper. It was nostalgic for Brandon. It was, I think the Frog or the Grasshopper was his first. But we get a lot of people asking about him, so we find a way. But
if we agreed to buy every RC that you guys asked us to,
we'd be sharing a one-bedroom apartment, and my wife wouldn't be happy.
It wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So no, we can't buy yours because you asked. But yeah, we'll try to honor the bulk requests from the masses.
Keep asking, but don't feel offended if we say no. It's the fact of the matter is, and you guys all know this. We go out and buy a Mugen Truggy. That's $1,000. That's real money, and it's tough. But anyway, keep asking though, because you never know. Another question we commonly get asked: what cameras do you guys use?
Yeah, what is that?
I think
Oh, it's a Panasonic HMC 150.
that's right.
Why don't you tell us about it, Jimmy?
Well, this is a CCD. The big thing with cameras are the sensors that they use, CCD or CMOS, and CCD's more on the professional grade. It's much better in low light. That's why our running videos, this is what we use for most of our running videos. There's a few other tools in our chest. We use a Panasonic TM700. They have a newer model out, the 900, but for quality wise, I don't think it's any better. I think it just has like a hard drive on it or something like that. This is about a $500 or $500 or $600 camera, and shoots in 1080p at a full 60 frames a second.
Awesome.
Excellent camera. We actually had 2 of these. Had to sell one on eBay to buy, I think, the Spartan or something. So even our camera equipment is not.
We don't skimp.
Doesn't
This
get-
is the best camera to buy if you're not going to buy anything else.
Yeah, if you're
this thing
new
does
and
it
you
all.
want to do good RC videos, it's the most versatile that you can get.
Definitely.
We also have an arsenal of GoPro Hero 2s. These were Hero 1s at first. We have one on a camera. We use 4 of these for all of our, people really love our onboard shots. And now Brandon actually built an FPV system. Oh, that's where the GoPro is, on your
Yeah,
FPV.
it's on the Tricopter.
Yeah, and these are awesome. They're more versatile than people would ever know. They're not
man.
just for onboard.
It's incredible. They're workhorses. We just put them in the ground, put them on a jump, put them on the car lands. You just set them anywhere. These little tiny bricks, and the quality is incredible.
Yeah, they shoot in full 1080p at 30 frames a second. You can get all the way up to 90 frames a second for super slow-mo, like producers like Jetlag, Quadruple Deuce. He loves his slow-mo. Guarantee you he uses these. And they also come with like a little backpack that you can actually see, which has been the best $70 I ever spent in my life, because you can position it and actually see, you know,
What
all
you're
these
shooting,
cameras
yeah.
have viewfinders, but these don't. And you can actually see it. It makes it amazing. And there's a variety of accessories. Brandon usually like custom makes mounts so we can get some really interesting shots. We got this little guy. It's a 3D system. I don't know if it's going to really look that good at all or not, but we're going to try an upcoming video. And
Upcoming?
up, yeah.
I hope it's not.
I hope it. I hope it's full of crumbs, bacon crumbs.
Yeah, I want cookie crumbs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cookie crumbs would be better. But you know, there's accessories like this. You don't have to spend a fortune to shoot good videos. You can shoot an entire great RC video on a $300 GoPro camera.
Yeah.
I mean, you really
Oh, yeah.
could. Which really segues us into the fifth and final question we're answering to this week is, how do I get more views on my videos, or how do I get more subscribers? Well, you know, we started out just like anybody, and we learned the hard way. But we had a couple mentors along the way, other proven producers that, you know, it really comes down to you have to work extremely hard and make the
Yes.
best video you possibly can.
You have to spend most of the time planning your video and
Yep.
very little time actually shooting it. So by the time you get done shooting it, it's high quality. Some people don't want to watch.
Yeah, and you know, like the typical running video we do for like the latest running video on RC Nightmare, the Thunder
man.
Tiger, about 20 hours of time went into that. I mean,
For
that's
that 2-minute video.
for it's maybe for
Or that's
maybe
maybe a 4-minute video.
I would
but-
take like every minute would be almost 7 hours generally, if you want it to be great. I mean, that's the thing. Most people they want the views, but they'll say, "What's the quickest way?"
Yeah,
What's
there is none.
There is no shortcut.
What
There
if
isn't.
what if I go on someone else's channel and in their comments say, "Hey, check out my channel"? Would that give me a lot of views?
That's not going to get you a lot of views. That'll get you blocked generally.
Oh.
So don't, you know,
So that's a bad idea. Don't
Right.
do that.
get a good chest of videos done. Chest. A booty of videos, perhaps, before you go out telling people to go check out your videos. And make sure that you plan and use a great camera. I'm not saying don't ever make videos if the only camera you have available is your cell phone camera, because hey, new cell phone, like, you know, the new Android and iPhone cameras, they work great, but they're not for shooting RC videos.
No.
They're not. And nobody wants to watch those videos where it's like a section of the screen, like, or
Your hand
Yeah.
shaking around. We all want it. We just want to throw up when we
Right.
see those.
use a tripod and use good cameras. Now, if you're in your teens, or even, you know, hey, who's got the money to go spend $600 on a camera? Well, life's about choices, right?
Yeah.
I bought a TM700 instead of buying a Slash 4x4. That is the choice that you have to make. I mean, there is no easy way. Or,
No.
you know, the other thing you could do, you find somebody who's got a nice camera and
Yeah.
borrow it. You know, you
Whole
can
partnership.
Yes, you can rent cameras. You can do all sorts of stuff like that. But it's like 95% planning and shooting, and it's like 5% editing. You can't put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. Like, you can't polish a turd. There's all these like sayings that they wouldn't be sayings if they weren't true. So, you know, you take your time, do your research on a camera, go out on Black Friday, get a great deal.
Yeah.
And
One more thing
Oh, go
I'd
ahead.
like to add too, if you don't mind, lighting.
oh,
You see all these
Extremely
videos.
important.
It's so dark you can't even see what they're doing. Invest in some lights, or just pull lights from around the house if you're doing a video like this, and make sure that you can see everything really well. Set up the camera.
above us we have shop lights, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 total bulbs, and we have photographer like light dissipators. We've got 4 of those. There's, you know, it feels like we're on the surface of the sun in
Yeah.
here.
You could probably
it's-
see it.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm a chicken being hatched in one of those like little things. But these are, you don't have, I mean, these things are not expensive. I bought these from Menards for like $20, and I bought the photo light things for maybe, it was like $150 for like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And you don't need all these things, but this is what goes into our production. And
If
we
you're
didn't
serious about it.
Right. We didn't start getting, you know, we didn't get 15,000, 16,000 subscribers on RC Nightmare or 6,000 on Friend of RC. You know, that first couple hundred you can go get. But if you want to really grow your channel, you have to invest time on equipment Software is another thing. I mean, Adobe Premiere is what I happen to edit with. It's not the only thing out there, but that's, you know, a $1,500 software suite. But the software is irrelevant
You got
without the
hard.
shoot.
Yeah.
You have to have the shots.
There's no easy way to do it. That's what sums it up. Work hard.
Yeah.
If you're really dedicated, the viewers will come.
Yep. Ask people too. Have people look at your videos and give you honest feedback, and take your time. And it won't happen overnight. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and it's been a commitment. It's not like we just made a couple of videos over the weekend and wondered why 20,000 people didn't view them.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a grind that will wear you down. But you have to stick to it, and, you know, ask us questions like in the comments below, and we'll help you out.
You got it.
Welcome to our last section, my personal favorite section. It's a little fun, and it's called What Grinds My Spur Gear. Each week, I'm going to talk a little bit about what might be grinding my spur gear.
What's grinding your spur gear this
I'll
week?
tell you what's grinding my spur gear. Let me give you the crazy eyes.
Better watch out.
It's personal attacks and YouTube comments. Let me tell you, Brandon.
Unnecessary.
You may not like our opinion. You don't need to get personal. If you only have one RC car and it happens to be a Savage Flux HP and you think it's the best thing ever and you think I'm wrong, you're
That's-
okay to say
that's-
that.
that's your
You can
opinion.
disagree. Just, yeah. You don't need to be accusing me of living in my mom's basement or get personal or even between commenters. I don't like to see that. You got to have a little class, YouTube. Don't be calling someone, I'm not even going to repeat it, but nothing irritates me more than personal attacks. It's a YouTube video. If you don't agree, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Seriously, I'll say it a third time. Don't watch it. Thumbs it down. Get on with your life. Go
Yeah.
run your RC car. Flame wars are for morons.
But if you feel compelled to leave a comment because you disagree, please tell us why. Give us your opinion. If you're getting angry at something, you don't call someone a name. We did that in grade school.
That's right, kids.
We've moved on.
And that's a quick way to get your butt blocked off any of our channels. If you don't like it, look, I work, you work. Let's say you take 3 paychecks and you go buy. Do you think you're going to take 3 paychecks, Brandon, to go buy a Savage Flux HP just to say you don't like it?
That sounds like a big waste of time.
That sounds pretty dumb to me. And we both work. We buy all these RCs. You think I bought a Savage Special Edition for like $800 after shipping because I just wanted to record a 5-minute video on YouTube saying it sucks? You're dumb. And that's what's grinding my spur gears. So that's episode 001.
001.
Soon to be 002. Remember to get your questions answered on 002. Post them up on down below. And if you like this video, crush that like button below the video. Hit the subscribe button up there.
Hit every button
Yeah,
around the video.
except the dislike button.
Except the dislike.
And the violate button. Just
Yeah.
the thumbs up button. Then go create another account and hit the thumbs up button. Put it on Facebook. Share it. Because if you want us to put this show out weekly, it's going to take a heck of a lot of work from us, but also a heck of a lot of work from you. So I'm really pleading out to you guys. Help spread the word. Let's get rid of that crappy weekly show you all know I'm talking about because it stinks. I'll keep the ads out. I'll do everything I can to keep you happy. Although sponsors are welcome.
And we'll do it for you guys.
That's right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in a week.
Later.